If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional. Our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Sant yàlla.
looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
You're with Coffee Time with Peter Gomez. Let me begin by saying that as we begin the series of political analysis on Coffee Time, our objective is to move beyond the headlines and help our listeners understand the forces shaping the Gambia's political landscape ahead of December. Our guests this week have all been chosen because they have consistently contributed to public debate through thoughtful analysis of governance, democracy, and public policy. They don't all share the same views, and neither do we expect them to. What they do offer, though, are perspectives that challenge us to think more deeply about the issues confronting our country. Nyang is our first guest in this series. Known for his financial and economic expertise, Nyang also punches above his weight as a political commentator and public affairs analyst. We'll be speaking, hopefully extensively, on democratic governance, constitutional development, and the evolution of Gambian politics. I'll be simply asking questions as to what happened during the past week, why it happened, and what it tells us about the state of our democracy. Nyang, good to have you back.
Thank you, Peter. It's always a pleasure coming here.
There was a time when you were almost a permanent feature.
Absolutely.
A permanent fixture on West Coast Radio.
Indeed.
In the days of straight talk.
Yes.
I suppose it has stopped on 92.1, but yeah, you're still straight talking, aren't you?
We'll try.
Everybody talks about the big picture when you look at what happened last week. And they say it has fundamentally changed the political landscape ahead of December. Are we overstating the significance of what happened, not just last week, but even in the past weeks?
Thank you, Peter. Politics is the second oldest profession apart from prostitution.
Yeah, the two P's.
But in as much as it is old, it should be noble. But in the case of Gambia, we have entered into a new phase, not recently, but since Jammeh's regime. We now have what you call political entrepreneurship. In the past, politics was for public service, making people's lives better. But unfortunately, in recent times, people have made politics a means to an end for personal enrichment and personal interests, sadly. And since then, politics has taken a nosedive in the Gambia. The courage of conviction and conscience is no longer the barometer for public service when it comes to politics. How I can be better economically and otherwise is the ultimate goal of many a Gambian politician.
How sad. We've seen the UDP withdraw from the 2026 coalition talks, while President Barrow, many are saying, has strengthened his position through this alliance with Mama Kande of the GDC. What does this tell us about Gambian politics and the direction it's heading in?
Once again, I always believe that there are two things: politics as usual and the culture of politics. It's the responsibility of all political actors to ensure that the culture of politics in the Gambia is left better than they have made it. What do I mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
We have seen the Baja Humpas. We have seen the PS Njies. We have seen the JC5s. We have seen the St. Clair Jews. They have created a political environment that they bequeathed to the next generation of Gambians. And these people, the current political crop, what they're going to bequeath to the next generation of Gambians is scary.
Oh.
Indeed. It's scary for the simple reason that they're not leaving anything good, because there's no conscience in most of our political actors. There's no conviction in most of our political actors. They don't believe in anything. So the culture they're going to bequeath to the next generation of Gambians is not good for Gambian politics in the medium to long term. And that's scary. The elders of today are not good references politically for the youths of tomorrow.
Oh dear.
Sadly,
Oh dear.
but that's the case. Let's call a spade a spade.
Is the collapse of the coalition talks, the 2026 opposition coalition talks, a failure of leadership, a failure of compromise, or simply a reflection of the realities of multi-party democracy, where everybody feels, I'm entitled to my choice, entitled to my opinion?
Well, I think we all call for political plurality. We love it because that's the essence of democracy. But it comes with a price, especially when consensus cannot be met. What I see as a problem is people just don't understand politics. Politics is a game of vested interests. But in as much as it's a game of vested interest, one has to make consensus and compromises to forge ahead. And in politics, everyone has an equity. Your equity is your numbers, and your numbers is what you have proven. When you come to the table to negotiate, you come with your weight, and that must be respected. So this coalition talk failed before it started because the premise of the talk wasn't anchored on sound fundamentals that will sustain a genuine outcome. So it was bound to fail, and they just went through a process, and the end game was a crash. But it was going to crash because the fundamentals were not respected.
For years, Nyang, opposition unity has been presented as the surest path to defeating an incumbent. Have the developments of the past few weeks finally buried that assumption? The UDP withdrawing from the talks, Kande, forming an alliance with Barrow, just to name but a few developments.
I think Deja Vu 2016 is just again in our faces. In 2016, the coalition that took Jammeh out, what brought them together was less than what can keep them together during the process, post-election.
How do you mean? What kept them together?
What brought them together was to get Jammeh out. And there was no interest that they shared in common that can keep them together during the tenure of the first term post-2016. And it showed its cracks earlier in the day. And now, 2026, 10 years later, it's the same. Gambians need to move away from removing a sitting president to having a position of wanting to change the country. And that's why all these coalition talks will not yield convergence, because they don't have shared ideals. One thing I've noticed in Gambia, many a politician wants a leadership role, but they're not ready to assume a leadership role. What I mean, we have too many chiefs and no Indians, meaning many of our political class, all they want is
To lead.
to be a president, but they're not ready for prime time. And it shows in the way they negotiate. And all of this is out of entitlement. Many of our political class are self-entitled. And so long as they see self before the people they serve, this is the end result of Gambian politics. It's just going to be a revolving door where we have people using the masses all for their personal gains rather than the collective good.
The UDP, United Democratic Party, has earned a reputation as the country's most effective opposition party. But is there a difference between an effective opposition and being perceived as a government in waiting?
Like UDP, hate UDP, you must say one thing. They're one of the most, apart from DOI, consistent parties. When I say consistent, from local government to National Assembly to the presidency, they've always filled in candidates. And their presence is felt across the length and breadth of this country. And many political parties that are pointing fingers to them today, they haven't invested in the political machinery of this country, i.e., local government, National Assembly, or otherwise. And they always say, he who is without equity can't be on the table. Sadly, many Gambian politicians wait for the presidential election to activate their political ambition. That's the case.
So the UDP is an effective opposition
Absolutely.
party, no doubt about that. But are they also seen as a government in waiting?
That's a tricky question. Tricky in the sense that in some areas, especially around policy, I tend to see them as a government in waiting, because someone like a Larry Cisse or Dr. Mane, they come with alternative policy positions that are apt, that are something that will take the country forward. Yes. My only fault to UDP is how can they tame some of their loyal supporters from tainting the image of the party. I think the UDP suffers more from an image problem than a reality problem. And it started with Jammeh, by the way. Two things Yahya Jammeh has done. I don't know whether you're aware of it. Yahya Jammeh used to say, we don't need old power, we need young boy.
We heard that chanting
And
a lot.
UDP never addressed that issue, and a generation of Gambians were left to believe in that stereotype, and that stereotype stuck. The second stereotype is tribal. They never responded to the tribal stereotype unleashed by Jammeh, and it stuck. So my issue is UDP, they have a perception, not a reality problem, a perception problem that they haven't resolved by adequately going out to say this stereotype is not fitting of who we are. And they have paid the consequences of allowing that stereotype to stick.
Again, as an analyst, we have read different comments since Mama Kande signed his MOU with Barrow's NPP. Some have described the event as another indication of the political strength of President Adama Barrow and his belief in inclusiveness, bringing everybody on board, while others have, criticized him as, engaging in increasingly transactional politics. And you know what that means, join me for this and that. What's your reading of this situation?
Simple, straightforward. I was watching a clip from Kerfatu. A journalist asked Mama Kande, danga dem boka MPP? No, boka ak join du bena. That was shameful. Boka ak join du bena.
Well, the bena in the sense that one is English, the other one is Wolof. but they mean one and the same thing.
Exactly. And I won't say that I've lost faith in Gambian politicians. But I've lost faith in the sincerity of the Gambian and the courage of conviction of the average Gambian. And like I said earlier, politics has become a means to personal ends for some people rather than the collective good of the people they claim to want to serve. Now, coming to the president, I've said earlier that political culture is something that we should preserve and bequeath to the next generation of Gambians. And the current political culture is so disgusting that we should not bequeath this to the next generation of Gambians. Because it is something that is so filthy. It is something that is so transactional. And lastly, the collective good is not the reason many politicians are in the field of politics. And that is shameful, including the president. How on earth can you be a ruling party? You have the machinery of state at your disposal, yet still you want to grab any voice that is dissenting to your camp just to ensure you continue to stay in power. For me, it shows that you're not a strong party. Take all these small parties out. What is NPP then? Having the machinery of the state, having the advantage of incumbency. At the end of the day, Peter, what I see is democracy as we know it, political plurality as we know it, is taking a nosedive quietly in the Gambia, because dissent is being silenced by co-opting divergent views to come your way. At the end of the day, it's not about him winning elections. He will win elections, maybe. But the political culture of Gambia is dying slowly because he is killing voices of dissent.
Okay. Earlier on you said you've lost faith in Gambians, and I suppose, since we are talking politics, you mean politicians more than,
Absolutely.
Ordinary Gambians. Why? What are you seeing? What have you seen over the years in Gambian politicians that has led you to say publicly, like you have just done, that you have lost faith in them?
I'm a student of politics. And I followed politicians from Omar Mbake, Numukunda Dabo, St. Clair Juve, J.C. Fay, Gaba Jahumpa, P.S. Njie, Kelefa Samba, and many others. These men and women had courage of conviction. They believed in public service. But sadly, the crop of politicians this country happens to have now are highly transactional, and secondly, it's all about themselves, not the very people they claim to want to serve. And that's my biggest worry about where this country is going. The political culture in Gambia today is all about self rather than the collective good. And that is scary. But at the end of the day, this is what the average Gambian is all about. When I say I've lost faith in Gambians, it's not the average Gambian, but it's the people we vest power to and authority to. They don't have the courage of conviction, and they see self before the collective good. And Gambia is in deep trouble when me and you sit here thinking, what type of Gambia are we going to give to the next generation of Gambians? We have nothing good when it comes to morals, conscience, and conviction to bequeath to the next generation. Because we are defected in the sense that we don't have conscience in us, the average Gambian, and that is scary. Anything goes, and we're highly transactional.
Equally scary is hearing you say that we have nothing good.
Yes. I'm not proud to say, as a Gambian today, I want to bequeath our values and moral standards today to the 15-year-old Gambian. Because as elders, me and you, our generation, not only failed this country, but we have failed to equip the next generation of Gambians with good morals, if nothing else. Because the average Gambian today sees self before the collective good. And that is scary, Peter.
Looking beyond parties, what should ordinary Gambians be asking every presidential candidate over the coming months before deciding how to vote?
See, politics have become transactional. And if a politician can get away with something, it's because the electorate accepts it. Poverty has been weaponized in Gambian politics. It's politics of poverty, not politics of issues. That's why they buy them cooking pots, give them oil, rice, T-shirts.
Particularly T-shirts.
So the politicians, they do come from within us. If we are sick, our politicians are going to be sick. The average Gambian, sad to say, don't know what they want. Have you noticed, Peter, be it on social media or elsewhere, we fight not on issues, but on personalities.
True.
When it comes to our politics. And that's what the politicians want, because we will not put them to the test once we shift from politics of issues to politics of personality. And they fuel the fire for us to create an agenda that is not about how to build and develop the Gambian, but how to point finger at each other, so we lose focus on the bigger picture. And up until the average Gambian realize that a politician must be put on a scorecard of how my life has become better security-wise, economic-wise, upward mobility-wise, health-wise, and otherwise. If we don't judge politicians on this scorecard, we're wasting our time. And honestly, this president is getting away with murder because Gambians are not scoring him on a scorecard that will reflect on how we are living today. Oil prices have gone up again at the pump. Everything is just what it is, but Gambians are worried about Ousseynou Dabo, Adama Barrow. That shouldn't be the case. It should be about inflation.
So what should we be asking these presidential candidates, Adama Barrow, Ousseynou Dabo, if he is confirmed, and others and others and others? What questions should we be asking?
Cost of living, security, education, employment opportunities, and otherwise. But they have programmed us including the president. I'm sorry to say, our president is one of the most divisive politicians.
Divisive?
Yes, divisive in the sense that he happens to have a platform, and his platform must be used for cohesion and unity. But sometimes he reduces the platform of the presidency to some mundane issues.
Like how?
How can you go on a national platform, a presidential platform, and you make utterances that's not going to impact the lives and livelihood of any Gambian?
Example, I'm still trying to get, tangible example.
I'll tell you. Dina sul ki ci sude dama dem ci dejam. What good does that have for the average Gambian? Our president has reduced the public space of politics.
You haven't given the context of that statement.
It's not about...
I mean, that's...
No. It's not about context.
Say,
Peter,
well, that's a good thing. I mean,
Peter.
Yeah.
The average Gambian is worried about his bread and butter. How to make money to pay for cash power. Pay for school fees. You happen to have a platform. They want you, if you're the president, to not only give them hope, inspire them.
But I'm sure when he said this, he was cheered. The crowd would clap. So you would assume that
Yes.
that's what the crowd wants.
And sadly, that's why I said politicians do come from within us.
Yeah.
And this is Gambia 2026. I always tell people, our forefathers, with the least education they had in 1965, they have done better for country than we have. We are more educated, better educated today, but we lack conviction and conscience.
Okay. On some of the issues you raised here, cost of living, job opportunities, health, and all of that, Barrow could say, I have done this, I have done this, I have done this. But if an opposition, presidential aspirant, like Esam Baifal, for instance, came along, what would, could we ask him the same question? And what should be the expectation?
See, I think
Barrow could
many
say,
Gambians...
Barrow could say, I've brought in TVETs. There was a report that said that 163,000 jobs were created. Barrow could say, I am building hospitals left, right, and center. Go to EFSTH. People who've criticized EFSTH before, they go there today, they change their minds. All this, has happened. So what could Esam Baifal, I'm not suggesting that you are Esam Baifal's spokesperson, but any opposition candidate, if we were to ask these questions about, job creation, the health sector, the education sector, etc., what answers should you expect?
Peter, I'll start first with our president.
Yes.
He has done a lot of good things, no doubt. And to whom much is given, equally much is expected.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that.
But it's 10 years.
It's a biblical teaching.
Exactly. It's almost 10 years.
Yes.
President Barrow is still missing the boat.
Missing the boat?
Yes.
Oh.
He wasn't elected in 2016 to build us roads. He wasn't elected in 2016 to give us hospitals. Gambia suffered from a dictatorship. And what Gambia needed was institutional reform, constitutional reform, accountability, reparations, and justice. 9.5 going 10 years. If these are the scorecard I have to score this president, he has woefully failed. 10 years, no constitution.
So out of 10, how would you score him?
3. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
That's a huge fail.
I will tell you why.
Why?
Justice delayed is justice denied. Femi Peters, Solo Sandeng, Nogo Njie, and many others, Deda Haidara, 9.5 years, they're yet to have justice, including myself. My house was bulldozed in Batakunku by Yaya Jammeh.
Oh.
I've written to the state, and they didn't even have the courtesy to reply me yet. And I gave them 2 years. I wrote to them in 2019. To date, I haven't had a reply. So
7 years after.
I'm not scoring him on roads or anything.
But those are good, aren't they?
The reason, of course, roads are good, but there was a raison d'etre why a nobody, an unknown Gambian, was made a president. And he has failed on his terms of reference with the Gambians for why we elected him in 2016. Sadly, he is more worried about his political longevity than addressing the institutional needs of the Gambian.
Okay.
I always tell people development is two sides, the soft side and the hard side. The hard side is infrastructure. The soft side is the people. And the people need good institutions so that justice and other things can happen.
Okay. So, a nobody, as you described him, comes in.
Respectfully, though,
yeah.
when I say a nobody,
Okay.
someone who was unknown
Okay.
in the political fray.
Okay. Someone unknown in the political arena comes and wins and reportedly promises to be here only 3 years, organize election, move on. He's been here for 10 years.
Yes.
Surely that has to be somehow also the failure of the opposition. So what is the opposition not getting right, which is allowing Barrow to continue?
The opposition and Gambians at large. The leadership of a country is a reflection of the very people they want to lead. There is apathy in the Gambians. There is also what I call political free riding in the average Gambian, meaning we want Peter and Nyang to carry the political burden of this country. When I leave your platform today and people see me, they will tell me, Tonga Yahbi. That's not what they should tell me.
What should they tell you?
They should ask, how can we be a concerned Gambian and act responsibly to make Gambia a better place? But the average Gambian want to outsource their socio-political deliverables to a few and become spectators. And this is why this country is where it is.
Okay.
And politicians can get away with murder because we don't hold them to account.
So that's on the part of the voters. What about the opposition leaders?
Well, if you have apathy from the electorate, naturally, you would have loved to see a political class that will inspire them.
Exactly.
And I still believe...
Rekindle, political enthusiasm in the voters to want to go to the polls. So
I still believe that overall, the Gambian political landscape, we're yet to see people who will just put a punch out there that will make the average Gambian electorate to say, you know what, I'm going to get up and make a difference. There's an American producer, Spike Lee. He created a movie, Do the Right Thing. And the average Gambian need to do the right thing, and no one need to be told what the right thing is. But our daily reality should show us what time it is and what the right thing is.
again, as you said earlier, our problems are many. Huh? Our problems are many. The economy, youth employment, governance, national unity, Now, you look at all the issues. What, in your view, is the single biggest issue that will determine the outcome of the December election? Is it any of these that you have listed or something entirely different?
I am of the view that the average Gambian is indifferent to his or her plight.
So unemployment is a problem, but they are not aware that unemployment is a problem.
What I mean by they're indifferent to their plight, they're feeling the pinch of inflation. They're feeling the pinch of insecurity when it comes to robberies, murders, and otherwise. They're feeling the pinch of erratic power supply. They're feeling the pinch of lack of opportunities. But yet still, they're fine with the status quo. They're not stupid. But it's because politics of poverty is what drives the political space in this country. What do I mean by that? T-shirts, football jerseys.
But those only happen once every 5 years.
No. During your Nawetans, they'll give you jerseys, footballs, the Yai companies. You see, when I say politics of poverty, the average Yai company, you have to understand, women play a big role in political mobilization.
Of course. They are.
But guess what?
What?
They're not highly represented at the cabinet.
Yeah, we know that.
And this has been since the First Republic.
We know that.
So politics in Gambia has always been exploitative. But the Yai companies, in as much as they are not getting a seat at the table, they're getting their perks and they're happy with it. So long as the average Gambian want to be exploited, the political class will exploit them.
Okay.
So we need to be the agents of change and put the bar high and reward or punish people who are not serving the greater good's interests.
Okay, so that's the reality. Now we are asking you as an analyst, a reader of the situation, to tell us what, in your view, is the single biggest issue that will determine the outcome of the forthcoming presidential election. Whoever wins, what would you say they campaigned on to help them win?
A day in politics is a long day. What I would have said 4 months ago, that these are what will make the difference or the game changer, in the past 2 weeks
has changed.
Has shifted seismically
and
shifted.
we have 5 more months to election day.
Seismically shifted. And right now, the uncertainty of the security, national security of the Gambia, and me and you, we live in KM. We are not feeling that. The people who live in the frontier, border villages of Gambia, from URR to the Fonyis, are worried. In the past, it was cattle rustling. Today, it's about land.
Yeah.
So I think
land that you and your family, have farmed for the past, decades.
I think the political agenda.
Now you're being asked to vacate those.
The national political agenda has shifted in this past 14 to 15 days. And national security is becoming a prominent political issue that will determine the outcome of the 2026 election. And corruption.
It has ever been there.
And corruption again.
It has ever been there.
And not only corruption, but immunity from corruption.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
We reward corruption by indemnifying corrupt people. You look at the Auditor General and what Fatoumata, what's her name again?
Jallow Tambajang.
Jallow Tambajang has said. It's not only disgusting, and it's not an anomaly. We have normalized corruption. And the sad thing, Yahya Jammeh was corrupt, but he centralized corruption. This government has decentralized corruption and free for all, sadly.
Oh dear. We have only 3 minutes remaining. If we reconvene after the election, what do you think historians will say was the defining political moment of this campaign?
The campaign is yet to start, so I cannot...
I would say the campaign has been going on for the past years. No. The official,
No, see, you need to understand one thing. There has been political jockeying for power.
So you wouldn't call those campaigns?
No. Campaign is when the opposition start hitting at the incumbent.
Well, they're hitting.
No, they're yet. the opposition have been...
Oh, what we've heard so far, that's not real business yet?
No, we are yet to see real business, because the average politician, they were trying to form a coalition. In forming a coalition, everyone is trying to show, I should be the one. So that's what I call political jockeying. And now, I think we're about to come past that phase. Then we will get into the phase of having to deal with the incumbent, i.e. the political opposition.
Okay.
So let's see what's going to happen. But it's still early to say what we will say post.
Okay, you can't look at your crystal ball and
I dare not
and predict
because we live in a very seismic, shifting sand, and like I told you, 14 days ago, the political agenda of this country has changed.
Yeah, changes every week.
Now it's all about national security and territorial integrity. That wasn't the case a month ago.
Okay.
So let's see.
And just any final thoughts?
Well, thanks once again for having me, and just thanking everyone. And I just hope, Peter, that the average Gambian will rise up and understand that they have been shortchanged. Shortchanged in the sense that we elected people to make our lives better. But instead, they have used our space, our resources to take care of themselves at the expense of us. Be it our debt, be it our inflation, be it our security. So it's time for Gambians to rise up and wise up. Thank you.
Nyang, thank you very much.
If you're an entrepreneur and your business is not yet registered, if you're looking to grow your registered business, or you're an accomplished professional, our Elevate program supports you with access to finance, access to markets, access to capacity building. Sign up now or refer a friend at ecobank.com/elevate. Elevate by EcoBank. A better way, a better Africa.
Yëpp lay fay. Sant yàlla. looy xaar utal Wave nga scan nga fay te nag doo ci yokku dara.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.